Hi Aquarius, I'm Ronique and welcome to Scorpio Soul Time. I hope you all are doing well. Welcome to your mid-June through mid-July career tarot reading for 2025. This is where we're going to look at the astrological energies of this time. Wow, your cards are going everywhere, Aquarius. Of this time, we have some big movements in the sky. We have Uranus moving into the sign of Gemini. I will tell you that Uranus at that 29th degree of Taurus is going to be a big shift. We could have some surprise news in the economy, in the world, but also in your own job, your career, your finances. We will also enter into retrograde season come July. We will have Neptune, Mercury, and Saturn all retrograding at different times, but this is really huge for us because most of this year we've had on and off retrogrades, but this is a compounding energy here. So we want to make sure, Aquarius, that if you have any big ticket items, if you're trying to apply for jobs, if you're trying to hire new people, if you can do it in June, the energy is going to probably be a lot more favorable than when things slow down in July. So let's get right into it, Aquarius. Take a look at the description box below. If you haven't subscribed, I would love if you would. Absolutely free for you. All right, Aquarius, let's get into it. You start off mid-June, 9 of Swords, as well as the Page of Swords in reverse. Ending June, you have the Chariot card, finally getting things on track, major arcana there, as well as the Two of Swords. So a lot of a mental energy going on with you, Aquarius. By the time we move into July, look at that. 3 of Wands, finally strategizing your next move, as well as the Moon card, Piscean energy here in reverse, major arcana. And by mid-July, look at that, the 10 of Swords in reverse. Remember, you started off this reading with that 9 of Swords. So interesting that you're finally coming to some final ending here. And lastly, look at that. You are planting seeds for the future. So glad to see that with that 7 of Pentacles, Aquarius. So overall, I can already see that there is a shift going on for you mentally as to what you have come through in your job, in your career. Let's ask Spirit to send you a card representing the energy you bring into mid-June. Spirit, can you send my Aquariuses a card representing the energy that they could have been dealing with back in May? And you have the 5 of Swords in reverse. So the continuance of the sword energy, lots of mental anguish here. And I do think that some of you have been having some challenges with people around you, whether it is at work, colleagues, a boss, clients. It feels like a mental strain has been like this tug of war back and forth with people you work with. And I do think as you come into mid-June and into July, this is going to be something that you need to work through, because I do think that once this mental strain is lifted, you can already see down here, you're starting to strategize and you're feeling, feeling better about the direction that you are on. So really keep that in mind. Who is it around you that you need to move away from, or possibly just see less of, or is it time for you to move on to a different job? And I do think that's going to be a question for many of us, especially with Uranus, like I said, at that 29th degree of Taurus. So let's go ahead and pull a card representing an oracle message, an overarching theme for your career, Aquarius. And you have the Magician in reverse. So the Magician card is a very prosperous card. It is a card representing all of the elements of the universe are here at your disposal. But with it in reverse, Aquarius, I do think that many of you all don't feel like you have the resources. I do think you're stuck in this analysis paralysis stage, and Spirit is telling you that you have so many resources around you, people that you know, bigger ideas than you have even given yourself credit for. So really take the time during mid-June and mid-July to find out what these qualities are. Ask your spirit guides to lead you. And I think that's going to really put you in a different headspace. And I do think, Aquarius, that since you are an air sign, you know, being in your head is always a thing. So I don't think that that's rare. But what I do think is that you come into mid-June. Nine of Swords, Page of Swords in reverse. I do think around the 15th, when Mars and Leo squared Uranus and Taurus, there was tension, possibly in your family, with your work. There's some type of like work-life balance that you have been kind of plagued with here, and you've been very worried about what the next steps are. And I do think that you all are waiting on an answer. This Page of Swords in reverse is that waiting on possibly to hear back from a job interview, possibly waiting back from a client to give you the okay to move forward. There's something here where you're worried about what the answer is going to be. And I will tell you that you need to take control back into your own head so that this is not something that you are worried about. Have a plan B, C, and D, right? Do not get so fixated that whatever this answer is going to propel you into a different stratosphere. Make sure that you're staying grounded. Mars enters Virgo on the 17th, and by the time we get to the 20th, when the Sun enters Cancer, I do think that you could hear back from whoever it is that you are waiting on that information. And I do think that once you take control, that is what this Chariot is, once you take control of your trajectory, Aquarius, I do think this is when you feel so much better. Even though all the decisions and all the answers haven't been made, you're finally taking control and you're like, okay, even if this doesn't work out, I have a plan B. I do think by time we're moving into the 22nd, when the Sun in Cancer squares Saturn in Aries, and the 23rd, Sun in Cancer squares Neptune in Aries. This is a lot, you all. This is the Sun in Cancer squaring two planets that literally just moved into Aries. Take control, figure out what you need to do, Aquarius, and do not let the energies of people being swept up in the new Aries energy get you off kilter. Because I do think that you all have some type of plan. You're just not quite sure which direction to go. And remember that Magician card. You have all the resources. Do not keep telling yourself that you do not. And I do think, Aquarius, that this is going to be a time where you're like getting rid of old baggage in your mind. I do think that the Moon card in reverse, Three of Wands, as we come into July, this is going to be really good for you because remember, we do have, I just forgot about that Cancer new moon. That Cancer new moon on the 25th back here, that definitely is that Chariot energy. So pay attention to what comes up then. And I do think as you come into July, Neptune turns retrograde in Aries on the 4th. We also have Venus entering Gemini on the 4th. And we have Venus conjunct Uranus in Taurus on the 4th. So this is that 29th degree I keep mentioning. I do think this Moon card in reverse is suggesting that some of you all could have had some information that wasn't told to you in the past. And now once you're coming into July, it's finally out there. You're finally able to make some decisions. You're finally able to plan. I do think many of you all are picking up from this current stage in your life and you're moving on to something better. So keep that in mind for July, because I do think you're strategizing now and feeling so much better now that that Moon card is in reverse. Things are clearer. And I do think for you, Aquarius, this is going to be really important as you get to mid-July. The Ten of Swords in reverse, finally ending some type of mental cycle and getting started at a new career, a new job, finally getting your own place. This feels like you are finally like, you know what, I can do something different now. And even if I have to start slower, this feels like you're so confident because it's yours. And I do think that by the time we have that Capricorn full moon on the 10th and Uranus entering Gemini on the 7th, this is huge energy. This Uranus entering Gemini is like this shift of mindset. And I do think that that's what those Ten of Swords in reverse are representing. And I do think that Capricorn full moon highlights how far you have come, Aquarius. And I will tell you, Saturn retrograde in Aries on the 13th, Mercury retrograde in Leo on the 18th. So now we are fully into retrograde season, but you have already planted your seeds of intention. You have finally let go of what was mentally draining you up here in mid-June. So you are feeling so much better, Aquarius. So I hope this was helpful for you. I do see this like progression for you all, which is really beautiful to see. And I feel like whatever this strain and stress is Aquarius from mid-June. By the time you get into mid-July and into August, you all are feeling a lot better about where your mental state is, which is so important for you as a fellow air sign. So Aquarius, I hope this is helpful for you. Take a look at your sun, moon, and rising signs, and I'll talk to you later.